There we go. I didn't actually have to change the stream key, but I have to go onto YouTube and say that my stream is starting before I can start punching some video over towards YouTube. So yay for that. We're live on YouTube, so you folks can watch the video stream there. So I'm going to go over the assignment here for this next bit where we're going to be drawing these three out of the four of these objects on paper. Now, as you're looking at these objects, we have a couple of it's just youtube.com/Wes Macaulay. It's in the general chat, or it's. Oh, really? Okay, it says it's live.
I got the same issue. I'm on your YouTube channel, but I can't find your live stream.
I just searched live in the top corner and it popped up. Oh, here we go.
If there's a direct link to it, if one of you guys wants to throw that into Discord chat, that would be spectacular. I'm going to hop on a different browser here and just see what that's like.
That live search totally works. Whoever mentioned that.
Huh, okay. So I'm just going to live here, and then I just search for Wes Macaulay. You guys can always check out my great NHL reffing calls.
Oh yeah.
So I actually I had a sports writer who linked to me on Twitter, and yeah, basically he had told me he had me confused with the actual real Wes Macaulay referee who yeah, who doesn't have a Twitter account. So that was actually pretty funny. Okay, how many of you still can't find that YouTube stream? I actually couldn't find it. I couldn't find it when I was trying to use Edge instead of Chrome, just as a separate browser that I'm not signed into to see how to get to it. So you guys say that you go to youtube.com and you go over to live, and then you just try and search for it there?
Yeah, and then just type in Wes Macaulay, and then it'll come up. But it for some reason doesn't go to your page.
Okay.
Like if you click on the actual live stream, it'll go to the page. But
Yeah. So do I type in Wes Macaulay all one word, or is there a space in between?
there can be a space.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I've got the process. Okay, so what happens is it shows Wes Macaulay as the hit at the oh, then it shows Wes Macaulay live stream. Okay, cool, good. All right, right on. So I've got 15 concurrent viewers right now, so that'll do. Alrighty. So for those of you who ski, we have a few different you know options here for you. We've got the green circle, which is this guy right here, and then we've got the blue square for these ones, and then we've got the black diamond one right here. So the reason that this one's the black diamond is because of this sloping face, which is going to make drawing it a little tougher. So if you want to stay in sort of noob-friendly zones, you can choose these three objects at the top of the page. But because um, we like drawing that's kind of sendy, we're going to do the black diamond on YouTube. So first order of business is to figure out what scale we're going to use. Now this time we're going to be using the metric scale. So I'm going to pull out the handy dandy scale here, and I got to figure out how long is this thing from one end to the other. So 26 and 29, that's 54 plus 54, so it's 108 millimeters long. So if I were to draw it at 1 to 1, here we go, that'd be it right there, 108 millimeters. And so here they're suggesting that that's the scale that you're going to use. So for these particular problems anyway, we're just going to be drawing them at 1 to 1. We're not going to be worrying about scaling. But if I was laying this out on a sheet and I didn't have any guidance in terms of what scale to use, you know, I'd go to my scale, figure out how long the object is, and then see, okay, how is that going to fit on my sheet, and how's that going to look? So the next thing we got to do is we've got to figure out what's going to be the top view, the front view, and the side. So for all of these objects here, they've kind of been organized so that the top view is kind of a gimme. So in all of them, the top view is just going to be looking down onto these objects from above. And it's going to be the same for this one. Now the question is, when we think of projecting it, how do we want to lay this out on the sheet so that this is going to be easy to lay out. So I'm just going to very roughly sketch it out here before I go on to paper so we can just talk about this. Okay, so I'm just going to draw this block very simplistically in the top view. So there's our block. It's got this sloping face at the front, which is going to kind of create this kind of an effect. So you can see the orientation that I've got it in here, that this is going to be my top orientation. And so as I draw the rest of this stuff, I've got to draw the view looking in this direction and the view looking in that direction. So when I lay this out in the sheet, I'm going to start projecting some lines downwards until I get to draw what I need to here at the bottom for the front view. So I'm just going to draw some faint construction lines across so that I can start blocking out how this thing gets drawn for my front view. So then I'll come back in and do my object lines. And this aspect of the drawing is pretty straightforward. Where it gets a little bit more difficult, and you see with this sloping face that we see from above, you know, from the front view and from the top view, it's not immediately obvious that we have a sloped face to deal with. So now what happens is we draw a 45-degree line from the corner here, and you can just pick a point here where that 45-degree line is drawn. And then you're going to start bringing these lines across and then bringing them down so that when we do the side view, all of our geometries are going to line up in two directions. So you'll be able to bring these lines across and then you'll start blocking this thing out. So this taller piece here, when you see it from the side, we're going to see the dashed line coming across. And we're going to see the sloping face, which is going to start here and go back. And we're going to see the dashed line in here as well. Now, where people get confused on this particular block is when they're drawing this face. So what's actually easy to do is you can block out the top view first and just not worry about drawing this little bit of the sloping face yet, because it can be hard to figure out exactly where it is. So this is interesting. This is how you can use other views to help you draw your top view. So normally you'd kind of like sort out your top view first, but these drawings are specifically ambiguous ambiguous with how some of the stuff is going to be sorted out. So with a 60-degree angle, you know that you can come to the 47.5 millimeter mark here. And from here, you can use your set square and you can draw that 60-degree angle starting from this point and going up to draw that sloping face. So that's actually pretty straightforward for the side view. But now, for where this slot comes through, we can draw these projection lines up to the 45 and then back over so that we know where the slot comes out on this sloping face. So now we know our slot comes to there. Now for the top corner, we can project that line up and then take it over. And now we know where the top corner is going to show up in our top view. So in the top corner, I'm meaning that point right there. So this is how the top, front, and the side are going to work out for this guide key. So what I'm going to start doing is blocking it out on paper. And I'm not going to talk too much. If you guys ask questions, I'll answer them. But you can kind of see how I'm going to lay it out on paper, and you folks can follow along. So if you want to, if you guys want to start with the guide key, you can, just because that's the one that I'll be drawing, and we can all take the black diamond run together. Now we don't need the compass, of course, for this, so that's good. So I'm just putting some of the overall dimensions on my sketch here before I get started. So I'm creating a little roadmap for myself on trace paper before I get started. Okay, so when I look at beginning to lay out the sheet now, I'm going to start thinking about how much room I'm going to be taking on the sheet. So I got 108 mils, about 48 mils here. I want to start laying out my sheet so that I've got enough space for the title block at the bottom and so on. So I'm just going to lay my ruler out here. So there's 110 there, and I need another 50. So I can start just about anywhere here and I'll be in good shape. Okay. Whoa, my paper is totally not straight on the page. I'm actually deciding here that I'm going to have my front view a little bit lower than I had initially thought. So I'm going to draw it in here. There we go. Okay, so um, as I'm laying out my blocking out where I want my drawings to be, each of these little blocks in which this guide key is going to be drawn, it's about 11 centimeters wide by 5 centimeters tall. So I want to provide sort of a similar amount of white space in between. So if you can look at where my white space is going to end up, I've got these 3 zones of white space. So there's relative amount of balance here, vertically on the sheet, and then on the sides. Now, I was thinking of having the right edge of my side view about where I bought my pencil, but I think that's too far away. I don't want to have all this dead white space in here. So I could have maybe as much as 8 or 10 centimeters of white space maximum before I start my side view. So I think that's what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to start. Okay, and then this thing, 47 and a half, that's actually 57. So there's, all right, so now this is where we're going to start laying out the 45. So what I've got here is the top line of my my top view. It's going to come over and hit the side line of the rightmost line of my side view. So my side view, which is 57 millimeters wide, there's the 2 sides. This is going to be the left side, the left line of the side view, and the right line of the side view. So where the right line of the side view comes up and hits the top, the upper line of our top view, that's where we are going to draw the 45. Now, what I will do, folks, later is when you go back to find these live streams, right now it just gives a generic name of West Macaulay live stream. I'll go back and give it a more descriptive title. It'll say ADT1. In this case, I'll call it the guide key presentation for manual drafting. So you guys will know which live stream is which. Okay, so I'm going to start blocking out the top view for my guide key. Thirteen and 13. And then 15 and 15. So one thing that they don't show you in the drawings, see they've got a dimension here of 15 and then 24, and then they don't tell you what the dimension is on the other side. So you can work that out just with math. It's obviously it's 15 as well. So sometimes they deliberately leave out some dimensions on these things so you've got some stuff to figure out yourself. Well, a lot of that's up to you. So what I did, I've got the two lines here for the side view, which are going to be 57 millimeters apart, because that's that's the ultimate dimension here, 57 millimeters. Oh, you still can't quite see it. 57 mils apart for these two parts of the block. So these two lines on the sheet are 57 mils. Now, the wild card is how much space you elect to put in between the drawings. And so I said here, based on the fact that these are about 11 by 5, you probably wouldn't want to go much more than an 8 centimeter white space in between these two, because these are fairly small objects when we get them on the page. Once we get into the more complicated drafting stuff, once we get there, um, the amount of white space that we'll have on the page to use is going to be a lot less. And so the gaps between our drawings is also going to be less. So when we're drawing something fairly small like this, we're kind of balancing the white space around the page and in between the different views. So I put an 8 centimeter space here, then started drawing the two sides of my side view. And that's what got me my intersection point here where this 45 can start. Yeah, no problem. Okay, so I finished my side view first, and the reason that I've done that is so I can start drawing those projection lines like I was talking about earlier here, so I could project some of what I've got drawn here up and over to my top view, so I can sort out what's happening here with these faces on the slanted edge. So we're going to use that projection method here that I was talking about. So I've got my 45 line here. Hopefully you folks can see that fairly clearly on the stream. I could darken this up a little bit just to make it a little more obvious where that mirroring point is. So what I'm going to do is I'm first of all going to project the line upwards for this corner where the sloping face meets the top face on our side view. So I'm just going to draw a real light projection line up, and don't erase these. Keep these in your drawings. This is of course so that hopefully when you guys take the picture of it, I'll be able to see these projection lines because they do form part of the mark. Okay, so I bring this line over here. So now I can see where that top corner is. Now I also need to know where the slot exits the sloping face. So I've got to extend this one up as well. Okay, so that gets me sorted on how to draw the top face. So I'm going to commit to it here and let it go. Now, we've also got our bottom corner here. I want to find out where that's supposed to sit. Although I think I already measured it here. I'm pretty sure, but it doesn't look like the right dimension. So yeah, oh it is. Oh, it was the right dimension. Okay, fine. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to get my HB mechanical pencil here, and I'm going to block out my top view. Okay, and now to do the verticals. That was a wasp who wanted to get in on the live stream, I guess. Okay, so that's what the final presentation of the top view should look like. So you can see how this bit of the line projects out a little bit farther, this horizontal line, than the ones above it at the top corner. Now, I got this one line here that isn't quite heavy enough, so I'm just going to hit it again. There we go. Also here, corners aren't quite touching, so I got to get in there and see if I can improve that corner a bit. There we go. You can see a few more places where the line weights aren't quite up to snuff here. Okay, so that's got her. So I will leave you guys to work on the front view here. And we're at 11:10, so we're actually in pretty good shape here, folks. So we will break for lunch. I'll come back at noon and see if there's any questions. I will set up a an assignment for this, or I'll flick the switch on the assignment on Blackboard so you folks can upload this assignment when you're done. Same thing, just use a compressed folder and put all your pictures of your drawings in, and try and make sure your pictures are as straight on towards the paper as possible, so that I can make sure that you're drawing everything relatively straight. And just throw your questions into the Discord chat there, and we'll catch you guys back here in 45 minutes.